In a world that worships the temporary, fame, youth, success, it's easy to forget the one truth no one can ever take from you. You are eternal, but no one told you that growing up. Instead, they trained you to fear time, to fight aging, to chase things that eventually fade. They taught you to believe in endings, to identify with a body that ages and a mind that doubts. And so you've lived with a quiet anxiety that's hard to name, because deep down, your soul knows none of this is real. What if the biggest lie you've ever been told is that life is short, that you were born, and one day you'll just end? You weren't taught the full picture. You weren't told that your true nature isn't something you build, it's something you remember. And when you remember who you are beyond the body and beyond the thoughts, fear loses its grip. You stop playing the survival game, and you start living from a place most people never access, your divine identity. This video isn't about giving you beliefs. It's about helping you break free from the biggest illusion of all, that death is real, that you're just a person, and that your value is based on how much you do before time runs out. None of that is the truth. The truth is simpler, older, and more powerful than anything you've been told. And it all starts with understanding what death really is and what it's not. 1. The illusion of death. Most people fear death because they think it's the end. They see the body stop moving, the heart stop beating, and assume that's it, game over. But this fear comes from identifying with something they're not. The illusion of death exists because we've been conditioned to believe we are the body. The moment that identity dissolves, death feels like a threat. But what if what dies isn't you, just the costume you wore? Imagine watching a movie where the main character dies and you cry, only to remember it's just a film. That's what happens here. Consciousness, the real you, is just playing out a scene. You're not the actor on screen. You're the one watching from the seat behind your eyes. That shift in perspective changes everything. It makes you question the panic most people live with, trying to beat the clock. But what if there's no clock? Real spiritual traditions don't avoid the subject of death. They stare straight into it. From ancient Egypt to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they all say the same thing. Death is a doorway, not a wall. And if that's true, rushing through life just to avoid the end is the biggest scam of all. People burn themselves out chasing temporary things, forgetting the one truth that would actually set them free. Their eternal soul doesn't die. To experience this truth, try something simple. Go sit alone for 10 minutes and ask, if I'm not the body, what am I? Keep asking, not in panic, but in silence. This single question has cracked the illusion of death wide open for thousands. And just when you start peeling back that false fear, something even more powerful reveals itself. 2. Your soul is not in time. Time is a tool the mind uses to organize experiences, but the eternal soul isn't bound by clocks or calendars. It doesn't age, expire, or move through past and future the way your body does. That's why some memories feel ancient, like echoes from another lifetime, even if they make no logical sense. The soul operates outside this timeline we're used to. That's why trying to find your purpose by rushing through life never works. You can't find something eternal using a stopwatch. People often say things like, I wasted so much time, or it's too late for me. But those statements only make sense if you believe you're just this lifetime. Your real identity is not a 9-to-5 routine or a date of birth. The divine identity that lives beneath your story exists in a state beyond time. Meditation is one way to touch this, but so is creativity, getting lost in music, in painting, in love, moments where time disappears and only presence remains. A great way to tap into this awareness is to pay attention to when time vanishes for you. Is it during a walk, a deep conversation, a workout? That's your soul whispering, this is where I am. The more you align your life with those moments, the more you start living from the soul, not from the clock. And suddenly, age feels irrelevant. Regret starts dissolving. Pressure lifts. You stop living to chase time and start living to express truth. And that's when the magic starts happening, when you're not racing time, but moving through life with a deeper calm. That calm isn't passive, it's powerful. Because when you know you're not in time, nothing can really be taken from you. No missed opportunity, no loss, no deadline can rob your peace. And from that realization, something even deeper begins to rise within, a knowing that can't be explained, only lived. 3. Consciousness cannot be destroyed. Consciousness is not a product of the brain. It's the awareness behind everything, the silent witness watching thoughts, emotions, and sensations come and go. That's why even after a major life change or a traumatic experience, there's still something inside that feels untouched. The eternal soul isn't affected by circumstances the way the mind is. It observes, it learns, but it doesn't break. People lose everything and yet somehow rebuild. That spark that rises again, that's not willpower, that's pure consciousness. Think about it. You've probably felt different versions of yourself over the years. Childhood you, teenage you, the version of you who once believed in things you now laugh at. But through every change, there was always one thing that didn't change, the awareness that noticed it all. That part of you has no beginning or end. It doesn't grow old. It's not afraid. It's just there. And science can't measure it, but mystics throughout history have pointed to it as the real self. Even in near-death experiences, people report the same thing, a sense of peace, detachment, and clarity, as if they were more alive when their body was dying. They describe floating, watching, knowing without thinking. And while many dismiss these stories, they all point to something the material world refuses to accept. You are not your body, and what you truly are cannot be destroyed. Consciousness goes on. The question is, are you paying attention to it? To experience this directly, slow down, breathe. Try this simple exercise. Sit quietly and observe your thoughts without judging them. Just notice. Every few seconds, ask silently, who is noticing this? Don't answer with words, just feel. That stillness, that presence behind the noise, that's the indestructible part of you. And once you feel it, even for a moment, the entire idea of destruction starts to feel like a bad dream. And there's something even more shocking that the ego can't bear to admit next. 4. The ego fears what the soul remembers. The ego is loud because it's scared. It lives in a constant state of defense, trying to protect an identity it had to invent. It clings to names, roles, achievements, even pain, just to feel like it exists. But the eternal soul doesn't need those things. It remembers the truth, that you're already whole, already connected to something far bigger than this little story you've been sold. The ego fears that truth because if you remembered it fully, it would disappear. Ever notice how the ego panics in moments of silence? It rushes in with thoughts, distractions, even anxiety, anything to avoid stillness. That's not random. In stillness, the soul speaks. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And those whispers are terrifying to the ego because they dissolve every mask it depends on. The more you connect with that awareness, through meditation, presence, even deep breath, the more the illusion of the ego starts to crack. And it knows it. The ego will even use spirituality to protect itself. It'll say things like, I need to heal more, or I'm not ready yet, just to keep you from stepping into your divine identity. But the soul doesn't operate on fear-based timelines. It just is. The soul doesn't seek, it remembers. That's why spiritual awakening often feels like a return home. You're not learning something new. You're remembering what the ego worked hard to make you forget. And that memory changes everything. You can't fight the ego directly, that just strengthens it. But you can observe it. You can gently see its patterns, thank it for trying to protect you, and then choose differently. Try this. Next time you feel triggered, pause and ask, what part of me feels threatened right now? Don't rush to fix it. Just notice. That simple act of awareness is soul-level power, and it naturally leads you to the next question the ego can't answer. If I'm not this role, this thought, or this story, then who am I really? 5. You are not your body or your mind. You've been taught to say, my body and my mind, yet somehow most people still think that's who they are. But if you can observe something, it means you're not it. You're not your arm because you can move it. You're not your thoughts because you can question them. The eternal soul watches both. It experiences the body, uses the mind, but isn't confined by either. That's why even when the body changes or the mind suffers, something deeper remains untouched. The body is like a car. You use it to move around, but it's not you. If the car gets a flat tire, you don't say you're broken. Same with the mind. If it's anxious or tired, it doesn't mean you are anxious or tired. You are the driver behind it all, and your divine identity exists far beyond physical shape or mental condition. That awareness is the real you. And once you start identifying with that instead of the surface, life becomes lighter, freer. Here's something to try. Next time you're in front of a mirror, instead of just looking at your face, pause and ask, who's looking through these eyes? Don't overthink it, just feel. That awareness behind your gaze has never changed, even though your face has. That's the consciousness that transcends every label. Man, woman, young, old, happy, broken. The soul doesn't care about those definitions. It only wants you to remember that it's the one seeing it all. This isn't about rejecting the body or the mind. It's about seeing them for what they are. Tools, not your truth. Take care of them, yes, but don't worship them. Don't let your self-worth rise and fall based on weight, thoughts, or external results. Because the more you detach from the illusion that you are flesh and thought, the closer you get to something astonishing, your infinite nature, waiting just beneath the noise of the world. 6. Reconnecting with your infinite nature. Most people walk around with amnesia, not because they forgot their keys or someone's birthday, but because they forgot who they are. They think they're just a name on an ID, a job title, or a pile of habits. But beneath all that noise lives something ancient, calm, and powerful, their infinite nature. You don't have to invent it, you just have to reconnect with it. And that starts with becoming aware of the silence that's always there under the chatter. Reconnection doesn't mean running away to a cave or shaving your head. It means learning to pause, to listen, and to return to the stillness that's never left you. You can start with 5 minutes a day, no phone, no distractions, just you, your breath, and your eternal soul. At first, your mind will fight it. It'll get bored, restless, maybe even agitated. But if you stay, something begins to shift. You'll feel more present, more grounded, more you. One practical way to speed this up is to spend more time in nature. Not just walking through it while scrolling, but really being there. Sit under a tree, watch the cloud, listen to the wind like it's speaking directly to your consciousness. Nature doesn't hurry, doesn't doubt, doesn't forget. It simply exists as it is. And so do you, when you're not trying to be someone else. That effortless presence is your true identity in action. You'll know you're reconnecting when you stop needing so much to feel okay. Less chasing, less proving, more being. And strangely, that's when things start flowing, ideas come, people appear, synchronicities unfold. It's not magic, it's alignment. You've stepped out of survival mode and back into your divine identity. And once you taste that freedom, something inside you will never want to go back, because the world starts to look different when you walk in it as a being who knows they're eternal. 7. Living as an eternal being in a temporary world. Living as an eternal being in a world obsessed with urgency isn't easy, but it changes everything. Suddenly you don't feel the need to rush, compete, or prove. You begin to move from a place of inner stillness, like a calm eye in the middle of a storm. That doesn't mean you become passive. It means you act from clarity, not from panic. You realize that your worth isn't tied to outcomes because your eternal soul isn't here to win. It's here to express truth. In a temporary world, everyone's afraid of missing out on time, love, money, success. But an eternal being doesn't fear loss because they know nothing real can be taken. That mindset shifts how you show up in relationships, work, and even daily routines. Instead of trying to squeeze meaning out of every moment, you let the moment be enough. You listen more, you speak less, and when you speak, it's with presence, not performance. You can apply this right now by shifting your focus from "what do I get" to "what do I give," just by being who I really am. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today from presence, not pressure? Maybe it's making a decision without overthinking. Maybe it's resting without guilt. When you act from your eternal nature, life softens. Reality feels less like a battle and more like a dance. And ironically, results come faster because you're no longer chasing them. This world will keep spinning, selling fear and urgency. But when you walk through it knowing you are timeless, you move differently. People feel it. Opportunities find you, not because you're trying to manifest them, but because you're aligned with the truth of your consciousness. You're not here to survive this world. You're here to wake up in it. And once you do, your reality will never be the same again. If you want to elevate your vibrations and manifest with more ease, I have prepared something special for you. Click the link in the first pinned comment and join us in the journey of awakening your inner mage.